Greetings, everyone. I'm Scott Rodell here at the Great River Taoist Center, home to our Academy of Chinese Swordsmanship. This is going to be a little different video than my usual ones. Typically, if I'm demonstrating some technique for you, some sword skills, it's something I've spent years refining. I've been practicing sword work for some decades, and of course, I feel pretty confident about those skills. What I'm going to do in this video and upcoming videos is show you something that I'm working on, which is my practice of the Feijian. There's a flying jian. Jian can be any blade that has two edges. So could be dagger length like this, or of course a full length kind of jian. We can also call it a changjian. Chinese sword arts have always combined throwing with the other sword skills, and primarily using that to distract your duifeng, to maybe, obviously you can inflict some damage, but if you have a chance to throw the knife, whether it's a pause in your sword play or as a starting kind of movement, that can give you some advantage. Maybe you throw the knife and then you get a cut in and it's done. I should say right here, I'm no expert in throwing knives. There's plenty of guys out there who really are. I've certainly tried to learn from them. And the method that I'm going to use, to be honest, is one that I took from Jason Johnson, an American knife thrower professional here in the US. So I'll talk about that in a moment. But what I'm really doing in this video, in this series really, is sort of showing you my journey, if you will. People like to use that term these days. How I'm looking to level up my skills step by step, and how I'm going to work that together related to my sword play. So along with that thinking, or I should say probably real quickly, that the Feijian I'm using, and the reason I'm using these is because they're generally of a Chinese sort of style. Of course, I like that, is from this company Tactical Edge. They're up in Canada. I've just got them, started playing with them, and so far I'm enjoying them. I'll do a proper review of them in the very near future, but if you want to check them out, I'll put the link below, of course. tacticaledge.dojo is their company. Have a look at that. You also might be wondering about my target here. It's a target that I've used for many years. Had to rebuild it when these came. And I have a friend who does firewood, cuts and delivers firewood, and I asked him, hey, do you have a big slice that I can use as a target? And he was very nice, dropped off this big chunk of oak for me that is probably weighs about 50 pounds, a little heavy moving this thing around, and it's about 4 inches thick. So it's a great target. Really nice. You can stick it nicely in there, so I really like it. I should say that, of course, I'm indoors right now, and normally I would not throw indoors. It's quite cold outside. It's in the 20s, down in the teens at night, and it's not a lot of fun to go out and throw in the snow. When you don't stick it and it bounces, and you got to fish around in the snow to get it, picking up a piece of metal that's about 20 degrees and again, it's not a lot of fun. And just generally, it's a bit cold outside. So I wouldn't recommend this. I'd also should say anybody who's new to this, that this can be kind of dangerous. The times when you don't stick it, it's going to bounce back at you. So here, of course, in the Wuguan, I want to keep it nice. This nice hardwood floor. I've got some pads down here and there. I almost tripped on one a moment ago. So I wouldn't recommend doing this indoors unless you can put a lot of padding around on the floor by those puzzle mats or something, and protect your home. Otherwise, pretty soon, eventually, you're going to hit something. And also, definitely keep in mind that this can be dangerous when these bounce. When you don't stick it and it bounces back at you, it is a chunk of steel. Which is, I say, another thing I like about these Feijian is they don't have an edge. There's no edge on it. So yeah, the tip would hurt you, but it's not going to cut. I'm going to use this technique where I'm going to put the thumb on the back like this. Again, I'm stealing this from Jason Johnson. I've done a lot of research. I should say I've done a lot of digging around, looking for sources on what was really what's the Chinese technique. There's almost nothing. There's a few illustrations here and there. I haven't been able to locate any period text, any Qing period text, only mentions. So we know it happened because there's mentions of it. You see movements in the forms, which even the practitioners of those forms will say those are sword throws or knife throws. But the actual technique doesn't seem to have really been passed on, or at least not very widely. There is one manual that dates from the Republican era, which shows throwing like this, boom, and I'm going to get to that in the near future, something I haven't done, so I have to practice it before I show it to you and then give you some, whatever tips I can from my slowly developing my skills. I'm thinking of this martially. I want to use this. I want to combine this throw with my sword play. So you can imagine here, if my Duifang was at a distance, I'm going to be 3 to 5 paces away. Here I'm about 4 paces from the target for my paces. If my Duifang is there and I have the chance to throw on him before I draw my sword, I would. I may draw my knife from the back, it may be from my belt, but it's going to be in a belt somewhere or the other. Probably not going to use this big one. It's when I'm using to warm it up. That's maybe a little obvious. But maybe that's also good in sword play. Maybe, your Duifang is there. I want him to see that I'm going to throw this. So he does it. And I follow through with that action. I grab my jian, I pull it out, cut, or come to a ready position. So all that I'm doing right now for myself here is I am looking to develop these skills so that I can put them together, and in the near future, I hope, I will demonstrate for you throwing and cutting together in ways that these two skills are integrated into sword play. But to be able to do that, it's got to be a no-spin throw, right? I'm not looking to tumble it in. I'm not looking to throw it from the blade. I want to be able to draw and throw right away. And that's why I like this method of Jason Johnson's. I used to throw this way. Many people do with a finger on the back. Works great. Whatever method you also see in Chinese where they hold it like this, usually that's with the needles instead of a bladed weapon, of a knife or a jian, Dao or jian. They can also throw this way. I think you probably could do it with this. I haven't really tried it. But the reason why I like this throw, and I would really suggest it for everybody, is that's how, it's a quick transition, right? You're here and you just got to go there. And that's how you're going to have your knife. If I have a knife in my belt here, or if there's maybe there's more than one, maybe there's also one stuck at the small of my back like this. When I reach and draw that knife out, this is how it's going to be in my hand, right? I don't want to have to flip it around and then go. That takes too long. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to wheel around this way and go there, right? I can draw. We're definitely going to work on this in the future. I could draw this way and throw. And I should also add in here, I'm starting off working with my right hand because I'm right-handed and I want to get my skills smoothed out. And once that's looking good and I feel really confident with it, then I'm also starting to throw with my left as well, using the same body mechanic, boom, 1 and 2. But I'm starting slow and easy, mostly with my right hand, but I'm going to transition to throwing mostly with my left hand. That's what I've done in the past. I'm bringing my skills back. Throwing my left because I want my jian, my proper full-length sword, in my right hand. Tip I would give you that I'm using is I would start really close when you do this. You're going to go, boom, because you want, for one thing, you don't want to miss and stick it in the wall. So just slide it there. The other thing you got to get is kind of like, well, where's the release? I think it's very common in the beginning to over carry, to put a little too much juice into it, and it slides and goes down there. Especially if, like me, you're here, it's really cold winter, you're not throwing outside. Probably should be. As soon as I can, I'll be throwing outside. You're not throwing outside, and there's going to be a tendency to go low. Probably I should get another piece added on the bottom here just in case. But if you're close, you might even start with just get that placement. You got to release a little early because it's going to slide down your thumb there. Or if you prefer, you can use this method, but I like this because just make that quick transition. So start there and then, okay, take a step back, do there, and then another little step back. And I'm going to aim above those in there, aimed above, but I went a little low. So you see that one, my release was a little late. It over-rotated. First toe sticking in nice and straight. That one's down. Talking while doing it, of course, is a bit of a distraction. One other quick thing before I ask you to subscribe and follow what we're doing here is this really is interesting. Of course, the body mechanics I'm using, it's from Feijian. That's my main martial practice. That's what I've done for decades. And so I'm using the body mechanics of Feijian. I'm turning my waist. This could be just like for those who practice. These are, brush, knee strike. You come in, boom, throwing it in there. And one thing I found when I started doing this was that I tended to drop my hand. My group, it's on the other side of this, was all here. I had to, of course, I'm aiming to the center. My group was here. And it made me realize, oh, what am I doing? I'm dropping my hand. And that's a error that we see a lot when people are practicing their form. They may do rollback, they come in, and his strike is there, but then it kind of dies. The strike wilts. There's no power to it. So I want to think like, okay, when I finish my strike, boom, it's there. It shouldn't drop. And it's interesting how sometimes doing something a little different practice will help your other skills. So I hope this is interesting. If it is, please do subscribe, and I'll take you through step by step how I'm looking to level up my skills. I don't want to put myself out here as some sort of expert. I'm in the process of learning these skills myself, and I hope that mistakes that I make, I can let you know about and save you that trouble. Thanks, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Stay strong. So until next time, thanks and Feijian.